When is this? This is going on right now, May 9th. We started it May 9th. The link to the voting ballot went live, and it's going all the way to June 3rd. June 3rd at midnight, the ballot will be closed, and the announcement of the ballot will be Monday, June 6th. Hello and welcome. Victor, the rookie card specialist here, coming at you with a little video about the Baseball Card Hall of Fame. I'm excited to be a part of the team. And today I want to get into the who, what, when, where, why, and how of this really cool hobby event. With that said, let me start with saying what is up with those Metropolitans out there in the East Coast. The New York Mets are 22-11 as of the date of this recording. I think they're on to something good over there. I was talking to my wife a couple of weeks ago, and I wish I want you guys to believe me. If not, I'll bring my wife on as a witness. But I'm blessed enough to have a wife who is a ginormous baseball fan. She is the only woman in my life, anyways, that has the baseball knowledge that she has. She just loves the game, follows the game, and she's been like that since she was a little girl. She's just a big baseball fan. But anyways, I was talking to her a couple of weeks ago, and I was telling her, babe, the Chicago Cubs, the Mets, they're looking like they have it. And she goes, what are you talking about? They got that it factor. There's something about that team this year to me that struck a chord a couple of weeks ago that really that eye of the tiger type thing, and she quickly, well, it's probably because they got a pretty good manager in Buck Showalter now. I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing there. And she goes, you're pretty impressed with my baseball knowledge, aren't you? Oh, my wife, I love her to death. Anyways, before I get into the Hall of Fame, I did want to touch on a hobby happenings because I want us to be aware of something that at least is my opinion, and that is in the PSA news that they just released this past week, dropping the economy price to $50. I know a lot of people were not very impressed, myself included. I was not very impressed with the news, and I was thinking about what they did, and here's where I'm at with it. I think they're going to be dropping the price little by little as the months roll on this summer. And I think they're going to get it to the point they're trying to bait us. They're trying to see where the market's at. And I think they're going to start dropping that thing to 40 and then the 30, and they're wanting to see at what point will we bite and start swarming them with submissions, because that now is going to be the new ceiling for submissions going forward. And I think they're playing or feeling out the market, and they'll be dropping this thing little by little to see what happens. If we start swarming them with submissions at $40, guess what? That's going to be the new norm going forward, in my opinion. So I say steady the boat, drop the anchors. We've waited this long. Let's wait a little bit longer, and let's try to get this thing down below 30, and then let's swarm them with cards rather. And yeah, I wanted to get into the Baseball Card Hall of Fame. I am part of the committee with Ray from Philly and Mike, This Baseball Card Life. But I wanted to touch on the ballot. I seen an episode this morning with Bo over at 1 Million Cubs Project. I was watching his live broadcast this morning, and he did a live ballot, live right there on YouTube. He went through the ballot, explained the ballot, and he voted live. And it was so, to me, it was, of course, I have a biased opinion, but it was hobby entertainment at its finest. And he gave his, and then he went ahead. Not only did he show the ballot, he started voting for the ballot, and then he started explaining why he's voting for that, and just the way he structured it and formatted the ballot was just, it was a phenomenal watch. So I want to go ahead and plug this Hall of Fame ballot a little bit further, and there's going to be a link to the ballot in the description of this video, of course. And what I want to do is I want to come in and just kind of explain things. It has been done before, like last year. We kind of explained everything about it. But in the event that you're new, that you have not, you didn't watch it last year and you didn't get the what is all the fuss about, I want to be able to explain it to you here in this video. And if you've done it before or heard it before, this could be a good refresher for you as well. So let's begin. The who, right? Who is in this? So this started with Ray from Philly in 2018, and he ran it by himself for the first few years. Uh, it was challenging for him to do everything that needed to be done, and he wanted it to market it more, and so he brought on Mike from This Baseball Card Life and myself. He asked us to be a part of his team to help him spread this thing more, and I jumped on. I said absolutely, because I've been participating in it since 2018, and I have found it to be a fun exercise to do in the hobby. There's something different, and then that leads us to the why. Why are we doing this? Well, you know, I feel the why can be in the hobby having its own voice. A lot of times we see hobby publications that give us, the 300 greatest baseball cards of the 20th century, or we have, the 100 best cards of the 1980s, or we have articles that'll give us, top 10 list. But where does that come from? How are those lists generated? That's typically, I don't know. I'm just guessing, but I'm guessing that it's just somebody's subjective opinion. So you and I, we can write an article and post it on the website, the greatest cards in the history of mankind. But that's going to be, in my opinion, that's how come I have, I'm real particular with kind of like a pet peeve of mine. Top 10 says who, and if it's your opinion, that's fine, but say that. Anyways, I'm getting off track here. The why, right? So the why is because we wanted the hobby to have a voice. So we created this voting ballot procedure, and that gives us an opportunity to choose which cards go on the ballot. If you don't like the cards that are on the ballot, guess what? We are the ones who put the cards on the ballot. It wasn't the committee. Now we would get recommendations, and we go ahead and we discuss it. We review it as a committee, and we say, should this card be in the ballot or shouldn't be? Should it or shouldn't it be? So that leads me to the what. What is the Baseball Card Hall of Fame? Well, it is a ballot of baseball cards that were created by collectors, and it allows us to vote for up to 10 cards, and 10 cards are inducted into the Hall of Fame. The top 10 cards get inducted into the Hall of Fame. When is this? This is going on right now, May 9th. We started it May 9th. The link to the voting ballot went live, and it's going all the way to June 3rd. June 3rd at midnight, the ballot will be closed, and the announcement of the ballot will be Monday, June 6th. And so that covers the who, what, when. Where is this? Right here on YouTube. It's going to be broadcast on hobby publications. You're going to find this link and this survey and this ballot, I should call it. This Hall of Fame ballot is going to be in multiple places, so be on the lookout for it. The why is in let's give the hobby a voice. Let the hobby decide what is a baseball card that is worthy enough to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Speaking of worthy enough, what is the criteria that the committee uses in order to say yay or nay to a card a card in the ballot? Is typically three things that we go by, and that is, is the card popular within the hobby? Has that card left an impact on the hobby? The second thing is, does the card have iconic status? And when we say iconic status in this aspect, we're looking at artistic design. Do you see a card, a 1954 Hank Aaron, and just the artistic design of that card just pops in your mind, and you say, iconic card. Why is it an iconic card? Because the design of it has an artistic element that makes it nostalgic, that makes it beautiful in the eye of collectors. So we got, is it popular within the hobby? Or has it ever been popular within the hobby? And does the card have iconic status or artistic status? I know, like in somebody questioned, why is the 1981 Fernando Valenzuela on this ballot? Like nothing from 1981 should be on this ballot. Well, you know, number one, the ballot is filled by request. So once you make your request, the committee decides yay or nay. But when you look at the 1981 Fleer Fernando Valenzuela, that card absolutely was popular within the hobby. In 1981, when Fernando Mania swept the nation and Fernando Mania swept the hobby, many of us were pursuing that card quite a bit, and that card left its mark on the hobby, and it has of all of his rookie cards, that one has a very artistic element to it. It's something that is nostalgic in nature. And thirdly, but this one is not always the case, but value. Does the card have monetary value? And the reason why that's on there is because sometimes we'll get requests that are like really like oddball request. Not really, I don't want to say oddball, but like you know a 1989 Greg Jeffries or something, or something to that effect, or just like an off the wall type of card that really is like, okay, I respect the fact that you made a request, but now as the committee sits down and looks at it, it's like, okay, the card doesn't really have iconic status. It really doesn't have hobby impact. It really doesn't have monetary value. And so we look at it in that through that lens in the event that we need to. And so that's how we formulate the ballot. A couple other things that you will see heavy rookie card ballot. However, it doesn't have to be a rookie card. You're going to see Hall of Fame heavy, but it doesn't have to be a Hall of Famer. It just so happens that those are the most iconic cards, or one of the most popular cards within that window of creating the ballot. So from last year to this year, these were the cards that were requested, and they just so happen to be rookie cards, or they just so happen to be Hall of Famers. But that's not our doing. That's not the committee's doing. That is our doing. And nothing wrong with rookie card Hall of Famers, but of course, my opinion is biased because that's my wheelhouse. That's what I love to collect. The emphasis is more on the card and not so much is it a rookie card or is it a parallel card or is it a Hall of Famer or is it the emphasis is on the card and the impact that it's had on the hobby and its artistic design. It's nostalgia factor within the masses for the hobby. So I think that is more of the true card that we're looking for on the ballot. Um, so how do we do this? So the how is once you go to that link that I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to try to share this screen. So bear with me for just one moment. I hope this works. I'm learning. Yes. All right. So you click on that link. It's going to bring you to this page. Okay. And you see here, right up in here, there's simple instructions. Please pick up to 10 total cards. You don't have to pick 10 cards. If you only want to pick 5 cards, that's fine. Um, but here we have 40 total cards to choose from. 16 new cards were from the 2022 ballot. All votes are 100% anonymous. Let me explain this to you. So this year's ballot, I want you to realize that what we're doing is last year we had 40 cards as well, but 10 cards were inducted into the Hall of Fame. That leaves us with 30 cards. Now, out of those 30 cards, we remove the bottom 5 cards. The ones that got the lowest amount of votes, those get removed. Not that they can't come back someday, but for the sake of the ballot, they're removed. And with the remainder now, last year we had 6 cards that fell under the percentage because 2 cards were tied. They had very low votes, but they had the exact same number of votes. So instead of the bottom 5 falling off, the bottom 6 fell off. So that leaves us with 24 cards. So those 24 cards got carried over to this year's ballot. And then we included an additional 16 cards on ballot. Now, those 16 cards come from previous requests. Those 16 cards come from the committee. In the committee, we put our heads together and we present to you now a ballot of 40 cards. So I hope you understood all that. But real quickly, I'm not going to go through each one because the guys did a great job at that already. But here you see, we try to make it a balanced ballot as far as pre-war, vintage, and modern. So there's a little bit of something for everybody. But here you see, I'm not going to give you my opinions. The committee does not vote. We just felt that ethically, to keep things honest and pure, the committee does not have a vote, does not have a voice, should not be sharing their opinion on the ballot. The ballot is the ballot. The hobby, you decide going forward. And so here we have, we're getting into the modern cards now. And these cards, are significant up here. The 1990 Upper Deck Reggie Jackson, it's significant. That is the first set that featured autograph cards. So very, as far as being a hobby impact, as far as hobby artistic design, as far as monetary value, a very important card. And this is how come, see, we want to bring light and attention to these cards and show them as hobby darlings. And here we have the same thing with the game jersey and the relics. These were the years that these types of cards were introduced into the hobby and have a very important role in hobby history. Now you scroll, you just simply click on the box and it'll check it for you. And very simple to vote, very easy. Now here down towards the bottom, you get to see The prior years, these were all of the cards that were inducted into the Hall of Fame, and the same every year. And then towards the bottom here, we got all cards currently in Baseball Hall of Fame, sorted by year, 41 total cards. And here you see, now the reason why we have 41 is because one year, I forget, it might have been last year or the year before, but two cards got inducted because they had the exact same amount of votes, but they all fell under the top 10. So that year, 11 cards got in. And so this is just so you can see a little bit of the history there. And then all you do was click submit, and it'll tell you there your response has been recorded. Now, Mike will see this on his end, and he will see that there is a submission of vote, but it doesn't have nothing chosen. And he will go ahead and delete that line because there's no votes that were chosen. I just wanted to click on it as an example so that you can see the total process of it, and you can see there your response has been recorded. So awesome. Also, I wanted to share with you, in the event that you want to learn a little bit more about it. Give me 1 second here. I go back to that. I'm going to learn this StreamYard thing, guys. Look out. I wanted to show you this. If you want to learn a little bit more about it, I wrote an article giving all of the details. I get into the story of Ray from Philly on how he was inspired by all of this. And I kind of get into all of the who, what, when, where, why, and how of this entire Hall of Fame ballot. Now, if you look at my website, you go to truerookiecards.com. And if you come up here to the blog, it's going to take you to a page with a bunch of articles in it. But right up here, you're going to see Baseball Card Hall of Fame. The hobby has voted. You click on that. I'm going to give you a complete breakdown of this thing historically. Ray from Philly story, how collectors can participate, giving collectors a voice. And then here I have photos of all of the cards that were inducted into the Hall of Fame that year. As you can see here, 2019, 2020, and last year's induction, 2021. That's just a simple resource that you can, if you wanted to visually see, or you wanted an actual list of the cards that were inducted so you can see it with your own eyeballs, that is a resource for you. I will leave a link to this article in the description. Or I would love to see more videos that have people sharing their actual vote. I mean, you don't have to do it live, but maybe an actual video. That would be really, really cool. It was really, really entertaining to see Bo's video this morning. And I just wanted to jump on and ride that momentum of excitement that I had anyways, and explain to you kind of where things are at. And I think, and not to be corny and all of that, but I get into, I'm one that I get into like purpose. What is the purpose of all of this? Why are we doing this? And I feel like I don't like to do gimmicks. I like to do things. If I'm going to devote myself to something or invest my time and talent into something, I want it to have purpose. I want it to have a meaning, because I got other stuff to do. If I'm not here to, mess around, because I got a lot of things I got to do, a lot of things that I want to do. So why would I do something that I don't want to do if I have things that I do want to do? So I bought into this because to me, it really reflects what the baseball what the baseball Hall of Fame is in Cooperstown, New York. If you go to their website and you look at their mission statement, I know I'm a big mission statement nerd. I'm sorry. You're going to see their mission statement says that they are here to preserve history, honor excellence, and pass on this to the next generation. And I says, man, that really makes a lot of sense for a museum or a Hall of Fame to have. And I think taking that and filtering this Hall of Fame vote for the baseball cards I think it's we are acknowledging hobby history. We're preserving hobby history. We're honoring hobby excellence. For what reason? So that generations down the road can see the cards that meant the most to collectors. And I just I can see somebody, a kid, a collector getting into this down the road, and he come across this list, and he sees how this list was formulated, and he's going to see these are the cards that over the decades, throughout the 100+ years of hobby history, these are the most important cards that were selected by collectors. And to me, that has purpose, that has meaning, that has something that I can buy into. And I hope you can too. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one.